Hey everyone, Brandon Maxwell here. I hope that you guys are doing well. It's been a while since many of us have been able to go to church and enjoy corporate worship. So hopefully during this time of quarantine, you've been uplifted in the word and prayer and worship. Whatever church that you've been seeing online, hopefully it's been encouraging and uplifting for you as well. How many of you guys have woken up in the middle of the night and your room is pitch black? You cannot see anything. Whether you open your eyes or not, it's no different. You can't even put your hand in front of your face and see it. It's that dark. Now, life is kind of like that. We live in a fallen and dark world, and there sometimes appears to be no light whatsoever. But there is hope. The gospel is pretty clear as to the light of the world. In John 8, Jesus says, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me will not walk in the darkness, but will have the light of life." Now, for us, when we think about darkness and light, we often think about really bad and really good. And when we think about ourselves, I'm sure many of us had the same mindset before we surrendered our lives to Jesus, and that was, we were okay. We were a decent person. We were better than some others, or we didn't do really bad stuff. We just messed up occasionally. For others, they're very aware of their condition. They just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. They don't see any hope in their circumstance. No way out, so to speak. However, despite those mindsets, one of the first things that happens when we surrender our lives to Jesus is He does reveal our condition. He reveals the sinful nature and what caused the fracture between us and the Father. Jesus being the light of the world, it is also to illuminate the condition of the world, the brokenness of the world, but also the hope that there is through the gospel. And when it comes to us individually, it doesn't just end with Jesus telling us how bad we were and are, but He also shows us what it means to bear fruit and have communion with the Father, how to have a relationship with the Father in heaven. He says in John 15, "If you abide in me and I in you, you will bear fruit, for apart from me, you can do nothing." Jesus is saying that you have to abide in Him. You have to follow and surrender Him in order to truly bear fruit, because that is what life is about. It's furthering the kingdom of God. It's having a relationship with God, understanding that Jesus is the way, and He illuminates that truth. Going back to the example of walking in a pitch black room, when you're walking in that type of environment, you're not sure what your step is going to be and what you're going to walk into. Well, in life, that's the same way. Before we surrendered our lives to Jesus, we didn't know where we were going. We didn't know the environment around us, and we didn't know what it meant to live a fulfilled life. But when Jesus came into our lives, He didn't just reveal to us our condition, but where we need to go. Now, for some of us, that's to be a preacher. For some of us, it's to be a missionary. For some of us, it's to be a nurse practitioner, a doctor, and so much more. Some of us, He says, stay where you're at and serve where you're at. And that brings me to my next point, is that when we receive the light, we are not to keep it to ourselves. Matthew 5 says, "Shine your light before men." The gospel says we are to be a city on a hill. We are not to keep the light to ourselves and not put it under a basket, but we are to spread that light and share that light to the world, because this world is fallen and dark. We are the vessels that God uses to spread the kingdom of God and shine light into the darkness. Jesus is the light that came into a dark world, and the darkness did not overcome it. That's what John 1 says. Many of you know someone that's living in darkness, whether it's their sinful nature or it's the environment around them and their circumstances. It's as if they're walking in a fog and they don't see where they're going. They're aimlessly walking through life and hopeless. My friends, you have an opportunity to share the light that is Jesus Christ to them and bring hope to them. Be the hands and feet of the gospel of peace to them. They may not receive it, they may push it to the side, but you're planting the seed. You're planting the seed of the kingdom of God. Friends, I challenge you all this week. Let your light shine before all, that they may see your good works and glorify our Father who is in heaven. Thank you.